So you are an entrepreneur, perhaps a solopreneur, and you are running things all by yourself, but you recognize and you realize I'm going to need some help. I'm going to need some support if I'm going to the next level. So then the question becomes, who do I hire first? Well, I'm excited that you're joining us here on the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show because that's what we're going to be talking about today in this particular episode. So we'll get started right after this quick intro. Don't you move.
Whoa. Why y'all so happy?
You don't know? Sharvette Mitchell is on the radio.
It's time to get motivated, excited, and influenced. Why? It's the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show, live from Richmond, Virginia. And now, here to motivate, excite, and influence you, Sharvette Mitchell.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show, broadcasting live from the capital city of Richmond, Virginia, but heard and seen all across the World Wide Web. We certainly welcome and invite all of those that are watching us live through our live streaming platforms, and certainly all of our podcast listeners who check us out a little bit later on Apple Podcasts and Stitcher and iHeartRadio, and certainly Blog Talk Radio. Thank you so much for being here and being a part of this experience. And so today's show, we are super excited because we're going to be talking about who to hire first as a solopreneur. I know that a lot of you are probably very interested in this topic. And so we are excited. Our guest is hanging out in the virtual green room, enjoying some virtual snacks. Cena Martin Chandler is with us, and I'm going to be bringing her up to the mic. But just want to remind you and let you know that this episode is brought to you by the Platform Builder program. This is my signature 12-month group coaching program for women entrepreneurs. And our next cohort is going to be starting the 1st of January. And enrollment is open now until December 16th. So jump over to platformbuilder.biz. If you are a high achieving women entrepreneur and you are looking to work on your visibility, your marketing, and your branding so that you convert more customers, this program is for you. You'll hear more about it later on in the show. So go ahead and tag a business friend or a solopreneur that you know of and say, hey, you need to come check out this episode, and you need to check it out right about now. All right, so let me go ahead and introduce my guest, and so that I can bring her up to the mic and we can get this conversation going and started. And so again, who to hire first as a solopreneur, here with our guest, coming up to the virtual stage, Cena Martin Chandler is a producer, an author, a workforce development expert, a teams operations expert, and she's a mom of 2 boys. Her company, Hire Great Help, Inc., helps solopreneurs hire their first team of contractors and employees so they can build a multiple 6-figure service-based business in 12 months. She started her business at rock bottom. Let me tell you, rock bottom, becoming homeless at the age of 23 and building a 6-figure online business with just 1 virtual assistant by the age of 27. Her insight and coaching genius has been featured in places such as Bloomberg, Business Week, Fox News, CBS, NBC, Shout Out Colorado, and Authority Magazine. And guess what? She can add Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show to her list of media attention. Coming up live here on the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show, put your hands together. Cena is here. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey, thank you for having me, Sharvette. That was amazing.
We are excited and glad to have you. Shout outs coming in from YouTube, from my sister Kim, Deborah. Hey there. Listen, my mom gonna always be in the audience. Welcome. And so I love this topic because I know that a lot of our audience would be interested in, having this discussion around, as a solopreneur, who to hire first. But before we get into that, I sprinkled a little bit about kind of how you got here and why you got here. So I'd love in your own words to just kind of share like what your journey was and how you even decided, what kind of business to go into.
Absolutely. So first of all, I never really decided which business I was going to go into. I just always knew CEO was the thing for me. And this was way back before I even knew what business meant or what it was. But my story is I started out as, I was a teen mom at 17. I had my oldest son, my senior year of high school. I thought I was going to be a paralegal and follow the steps of my mom, but life and God had different plans. So once I found out I was going to be a mom, it just changed everything for me. I ended up getting assistance and coaching and mentoring. This is how I got introduced to the coaching world from a local organization that was less than a mile from my high school. They really brought me through, the trauma of learning you're going to be a parent at 17.
Yeah.
Very difficult. And what happened was once they started helping and coaching me, I enrolled in a local community college. I got accepted to UCLA. So like it was great. And I was like, I'm going to stay here and raise the baby. So, I enrolled instead to a local community college. And from there, I really started my entrepreneurship journey.
Wow. And so how did you decide what type of business to go into, new mom, young mom? And it's like, hey, what can I manage? What can I handle?
Well, the first thing was I had to figure out, okay, what's the skill or what's the business I can go into that's going to provide me high income for the hours I'm spending away from my child. In our reality, I had tried so many different jobs. I think I had 10 different jobs by the time I was in my early 20s. And it was just because I was on the search for something, right? So after trying several different businesses, I tried network marketing. I went into cryptocurrency for a couple of years. I landed on workforce development. And the reason is because I had worked behind the scenes with so many different types of companies since I was in community college. And I learned the ins and outs of how a team works. I didn't realize I was an operations expert till I sat down and really said, you know what? I've seen teams in 12 different industries. I understand what it takes to run a effective team, to lead one and to be a part of one. And so that it naturally came, and I ended up getting into the workforce development space.
Okay. And so can you define or describe workforce development for people who may be just thinking like, what is this? What does that term mean? Yeah.
So workforce development is when you, it's basically the, I'm trying to find a way to explain it in layman's terms. Okay. So workforce development is when it's the operations, it's the step-by-step instructions and the leadership that it takes to lead other people who are working within your business. So when people say they're going to help you develop your workforce, it just means develop leaders within your team, whether it's contractors or people you employ, or even if you have, let's say, if you have interns, it's the workforce that's within your business.
All right, great. So, you had, you got into the space, you realized, okay, this is my jam and this is where I am. And with one virtual assistant in a year, you hit six figures. And so a lot of people feel like, wow, okay, how did you do that? And how did you decide on who to hire first?
I decided through a lot of mistakes. And now my number one focus is to help my clients not make all the mistakes I made and waste all the money that I wasted. Because even though I made six figures, I also blew it on the wrong team and spent it on having the wrong people within my business. So I made it and it was gone, right? But what happened, the thing that taught me the biggest lessons was hiring the wrong people. And I want to start by saying that you're going to hire people who just culturally, they aren't a good fit. They bring their own beliefs, their own biases, their own thought processes about how things should work to your team. And if you're not experienced yet with filtering out and filtering through who the right people are for your particular business and who can activate themselves to what your customers need, you're going to go through this experience. So me learning that came from the work. Let me back up. And when I was in network marketing, myself and one of my good friends at the time, we had built a team of over 30,000 people. And anyone who's been in, and that was our major, anyone who knows about network marketing, that was our right leg. So that's like the ones you talk to them every day, right? But, that experience taught me that you're going to have people from every walk of life with every different type of personality come into your business when you're growing teams. So you have to be able to really decipher who's a good fit, what type of personality you want to work with, what you want them to be responsible for. You have to develop yourself as a leader constantly, or you're going to drop the ball when you are bringing people into your organization.
Well said. Well said. And so let's dive in specifically into this topic of who to hire first as a solopreneur. Welcome to all those that are coming on in. Like, comment, and share. Let us know that you're here. If you have any questions, also drop those in the comments. And so solopreneurs, meaning somebody working by themselves, they have some options. So interns, contractors, or a W-2 employee. Would you like to talk about like the different options and the different ways that, people can approach this?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So that's one of the biggest questions we always get is like, what's the difference between the two? I would definitely say that if there's a big jump if you're going to hire a W-2 or an employee, there's a lot of things you have to keep in mind. From like the taxes and all of the legal depending on the stitcher. And if you're hiring someone who's in another state or who's international, there's a lot of different pieces and parts that go into that, all the way down to funding for benefits and health insurance and all of that. There's a lot to keep in mind. So if you're already in a position where you're experiencing what I call solopreneur syndrome or solopreneur burnout, it may be more beneficial for you in the beginning to get your feet wet with a contractor. Start there so you can at least you can practice, because there's only two skills you want to focus on in the beginning, and that's making sure that you evenly distribute the workload between yourself and the initial person that you're bringing in. This is what I did with my assistant. This is how we did 6 figures. Was I learned how to evenly distribute the workload instead of always micromanaging and wanting to keep my hand in every single pot and struggling to let things go. I practiced the art of delegation and doing that, and then practicing how to learn the psychology of people. That's the only two things I focus on in the beginning, because once you master those, then you're in a better position to not just hire employees and W-2. All of us want to do that because it sounds like, oh, I made it, right? Sharvette, I know you posted about Riches the other day, and I just finished binge watching Riches.
Yes, I binge watched it. Yes, last night.
I just finished watching it. But that's a good example, right? Like, look at all the mess that was in that team, but she knew how to do something. Her dad knew how to do something because they had built $1 billion business. Right. So all you need in the beginning is to know how to evenly distribute work, meaning you have to get out of the weeds and get out of micromanaging, and you need to know the psychology of people. So once you practice those two things with a contractor, and you get a lawyer who can tell you how to properly, pay those employees and get them the benefits and things they need, then you're in a better position to go into W-2 and employees.
All right. So if you're taking notes and you're like, okay, who to hire first, guidance definitely coming here from our guests to focus on contractors first. And can you talk a little, because sometimes people, technically, are you hiring a contractor? Because that language, is, so talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I'm glad you brought that up. Technically, you're not hiring, right? Because what you're doing is you're contracting them out for their service. That's the better term to say it. Because with contractors, keep in mind that you cannot dictate to them their particular schedule. The reason they're a contractor is because they don't fall under the laws of an employee. So you can't dictate to them, for example, what type of tools to use, or depending on your state. I'm not a lawyer. Disclaimer: I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an HR consultant. I'm not a lawyer. Please consult with your legal representation. But with the contractors, there's very specific things that you cannot do because they are not an employee. One of those things is you cannot say to a contractor, you have to be here between 8 and 4 p.m. That puts them in the category legally of being an employee. So there's a lot of things to keep in mind with the contractor. You're basically contracting them for their services. But when you are practicing when you're practicing being a leader of employees with a contractor, very careful with that language, right? Because you're practicing. Yeah. You're not actually employees, but you're preparing to have employees.
Yeah.
So when you are doing this, like I said, you're figuring out the inner workings of what you need assistance within the business. And I always say to start out with your services, bring people in, contract people who are going to come in and help you. with the services you deliver to your clients, because that's what you need, nothing else, regardless of what you may think it is. It's not emails, it's not social media, it's what you need for your clients.
Oh, wait a minute, you stepping on some toes. Cena, you stepping on some toes, because a lot of times that is what is like social media. Someone to help me with my social media, because I don't want to do it. I don't like to do it. I don't know how, whatever. That's a lot of times the first hire or the first contractor. And so can you repeat what your guidance is?
So my unpopular opinion, but what I know to be proven facts, because I've built 3 different businesses doing the same thing and dozens of others of my clients, you do not need to hire someone for social media first. What you hire for first is a mirror you, that's what I call it, who comes in and who will assist you with the delivery of your service or the fulfillment of your product to your clients. That's it.
Wow. So can you give an example of maybe some of the businesses you've worked with, so that people can kind of like crystallize this?
Yeah. So, oh gosh. Okay. So one of the big ones was H&R Block. I worked at H&R Block for years and years, and I actually helped them open multiple offices. Anyone who's from the Philadelphia area, you guys know about the 69th Street in Delaware County, up there by 69th Street. That whole office, I basically helped launched it out. So that's a good example.
So hiring somebody to do taxes.
Yes. Getting the tax offices organized. So that was the first thing, the schedule, how many, because we had 100 people coming through the door every 48 hours, meaning the 12 tax preparers who were in the office. And I still work with tax preparers and CFOs and financial service providers to this day. But we had to get the office organized so that each of these people who were coming through the door were getting the tax services that they were coming in for. Yes, the office needed social media. Yes, they needed marketing and guerrilla marketing to be done. We were doing events every 2 or 3 months. But what was necessary for the profitability and the bottom line to keep the margins where they needed to be was making sure the services were being provided. So that's a good example.
That is so good. I mean, this is so good that whoever you're bringing in, and if you're starting with a contractor, thank you and welcome to all those that are coming in. We have our guest here. Check information on the screen. If you're listening to the podcast, look down below in the show notes. We have a full bio and links and all of that. Cena is here with us. And we're talking about who to hire first as a solopreneur, who to bring onto your team first, even if you want to say it that way. And so having a contractor is great. And I love this thought of they should be focused on the revenue generating things of helping you deliver your services. And so what are your thoughts around virtual assistants? Because a lot of times that's kind of where people start.
Yeah. Okay. So there's categories of virtual assistants. You know how you have that really good wine, like the wine you only pull out on special occasions or a certain drink. And then there's the kind that's like, it's like the $10 bottle and it's convenient. It's at the supermarket. So not to compare VAs to different kinds of bottle or expensive. But what I mean is there's levels to the VA, right?
Yes.
You cannot just go in a Facebook group. And if anyone has done this, drop a like me or emoji in the comments and let me know that you've done this before. But you cannot just pick up a VA from a unverified or unqualified place or source and then expect that they're going to come into your business and generate the results or the ROI that you need them to generate. Because first of all, you got to understand there's VAs who just open up their laptop and say they're a VA and they're starting a VA business. No experience. No, they've never done this before. They may know nothing about your industry. That's the other thing. They may have no industry knowledge. So you have to be the same way you qualify your clients, you have to qualify your VAs.
Yes.
That's the way I look at it. And so VAs can be very beneficial. I've had some amazing VAs in my experience, and I've helped my clients find amazing VAs. But what you want to do is, if you're going to use VAs, be very certain and very specific about what type of education you need them to have, meaning their experience. Do they know the industry? What do you want them to perform? And the other thing, please do not bring in the VA and tell them that you want them to do social media management. Then they get in your door and they're doing email, cold calling, social media, and you have them you're throwing a whole bucket at them because you're setting yourself up for a failure.
Oh, that is good. I know there are people saying, "Oh, I need this is good." How can they follow you and connect with you on social media?
Yeah, so I'm everywhere. Hire Great Help. All the platforms, Instagram, LinkedIn, everywhere. You can also find me. My personal pages is Cena Martin Chandler, so at Cena Martin Chandler. And then if you want to contact me or reach out to me for a conversation, I do consultations as well. Our last ones are for the end of the year happening right now. Just go to cenamartinchandler.com and you'll be able to fill out the form right there on the website.
All right, there you go. Hire Great Help. And we are here on the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show discussing who to hire first as a solopreneur. And so we're going to take a very quick commercial break, Cena. But when we come back, I definitely want to continue the conversation. So we talked about definitely contractor is a good place to start. And then somebody that helps you deliver the service or your whatever products or service that you've already committed to deliver, them helping you do that. And then let's talk about the next step. Maybe what are the signs of, hey, now it's good to move to a W-2 employee. So sit tight. We'll let you relax in the virtual green room. Again, welcome to the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. We're excited to have you here. And here is a quick commercial break all about the Platform Builder program. Stay tuned.
Are you a high-achieving woman entrepreneur who is ready to ditch being invisible and unpolished, but finally ready to shine a spotlight on your expertise and services? There's a better way to increase the visibility of your personal brand and gain more customers. Let Sharvette Mitchell show you with the Platform Builder program. The Platform Builder program is her signature 12-month group coaching program built for female entrepreneurs and leaders who are ready to position their expertise and services with a polished visual brand, increase visibility with speaking opportunities, build authority with a published book, and convert more customers with content marketing. Not only do you walk away with all of the juicy strategic nuggets in Sharvette's head, but with tangible outcomes that you can see and feel. Find out more and apply at www.platformbuilder.biz.
All right, there you have it. So we're coming back up here live talking about who to hire first as a solopreneur. If you have any questions for our guest, Cena Martin Chandler, let us know. And I'm bringing her back up onto the screen. So first hire. So what do you think about interns? Is that a area that people can consider?
Absolutely. I would for sure. And that's really for any level of the business, any phase of business that you're in. Interns is always a good idea for multiple reasons. Again, it just gives you practice as a leadership in the role of leadership. But what I love about internships is you're able, a lot of times when you partner with the various colleges or universities or wherever you're getting your interns from, a lot of times you're able to actually create like internship programs. This is something, we did a few times over with various colleges when I lived in Pennsylvania. And you're able to create these programs where students can sometimes get paid by the university for working in your company, where now you're not paying out of pocket, but you're getting those hours from a college student to help with, whatever the area of your business you need help with. So sometimes you can build internship programs where you're guiding them, you're helping them get credits in school. Sometimes you pay for it. There's a lot of opportunities. So what I'd say is always have your ear to the ground at different career fairs, especially if you are near any metropolitan area that has a school.
All right. And certainly Richmond, Virginia, we've got, it's Virginia Commonwealth University, Virginia Union, Virginia State, University of Virginia Tech, all that is kind of like in Virginia. So, all right. So keeping our focus on like the first hire, where should people find either the contractors, and then we're going to move to employees, but where do you recommend that they find kind of these first people that they're going to contract?
Oh, did I just cut off? Okay.
Oh, we still hear you and we still see you.
Okay, wait, what happened? Okay, that's a good question. So where to find, this is another question we get a lot, where do we find these people? So there's a few ways to do this. I typically recommend that this is the one that you'll hear most common, but it's one that works the best. That's why you hear it most often. But ask within your network, right? Ask around your network. If you have anyone, which I know you do, especially if you're in business, that you are business besties with, or you might be in some type of mentorship program or a part of some type of whatever group
cohort, like the platform builder program.
a
Yeah.
mastermind, right? That's what I'm trying to say, right? So ask in there first, because typically a lot of your peers will have gone through the process of vetting contractors or vetting different people to work within, and they'll have a good referral for you. So always start there. Another thing you can do if you don't, yield any fruit from that first tip, another thing you can do is you can actually do a campaign to hire the person that you're looking for, or contract, right? The person that you're looking for. So you can do a full campaign, meaning you can create a very thorough job description. I'll actually provide like a free template that we use for our clients. I'll provide it to you if you send me a DM or reach out. I'll give you the exact job templates that we use as a listener of the Sharvette Mitchell Show.
Yay!
Or you have to reach out, I'll send it to you. But come up with a very thorough job description, and then you can do a campaign. So Indeed.com, post it there, post it on LinkedIn. Choose maybe like 5 to 7 strong sources or places where you can ask people to submit applications. And that's another way for you to get qualified applicants that you can then interview and move forward with.
Oh, right. I love that. I love that. So when would someone know? So kind of leaving maybe interns, and we know interns can kind of be along the whole process, and the contractor space. When would a business owner know, okay, now I'm ready to move to hire a W-2 employee, my first W-2 employee?
Yeah, one word: cash flow.
Yeah. Good. Yeah.
Once you're, and what I mean by that is, once your cash flow is in the position where you have, I would suggest, most people say 3 months, like 3 months salary of your salary and the employee, or the W-2 person, I should say, that you want to hire in. Once you have a salary that would cover the business's expenses, period, at least for, at the very minimum, 3 months. I like to tell my clients 6 months, just because I like to be conservative. But once you're in a position where that's the case, and you have that net, that safety net in the bank, and cash flow is consistently coming in, then you're in a position where you can go ahead and start exploring hiring W-2 employees. And like I mentioned, I wouldn't do it without having some type of legal or HR counsel, because you just, especially now, because like we in the Biden administration, and he's not playing with small business owners right now, or is a stickler right now for those particular laws. So make sure you have some type of HR administration, HR counsel, some type of legal counsel, and that you have that cash flow in the bank, and then you're in a much better position to go out and do W-2.
Oh, right. And then would you still recommend that first employee is service-based, is an assistant, what are your thoughts around what you would have that first employee do?
Yeah, this is where it's a little bit tricky to give like overarching advice, because it's very specific to the needs of the particular business. Fair. So this is where I would do what I would suggest is doing a full audit, not just on the business, but on the support of the business too. Like do a business audit, and then do what I call a team audit, even if the team is only you.
Okay, good.
It's you and some automations right now, or it's you, some email marketing tools right now, right? That's okay. It's still a team. So do a full audit. And in the audit, you want to look for, do a gaps analysis, of course. Where are the opportunities? Where are you excelling and succeeding, but where are you missing the ball a little bit? And then compare that to what's going on in the market, changes you expect to happen, trends that are coming up, and where you're going to need to fill in the support gaps. What I call them delivery deficits. Mm-hmm. So if you have a deficit anywhere in your particular delivery, whether it's your marketing or whether it may be your service or your product or whatever it is, figure out where you're going to need more manpower to dominate in that area. And then that's where you look for filling it with a W-2 employee.
Oh, right. And so what are your thoughts around like documenting your processes and your procedures? And as we are wrapping up, again, I'm going to absolutely give you the opportunity to also share like how people can connect and all of that. And shout out to Carla R. Jenkins, who retweeted us on Twitter. Thank you for that.
Thank you. So thoughts around documenting your processes. Earlier is better than sooner rather than later. A lot of people think you have to be at a certain point to document processes. I just read this amazing book. I can't even think of the name of it, but I'll share it, when it comes to mind. But it basically was explaining, why we as entrepreneurs get stuck in the technician phase longer than we should. And it's because we're coming from a world where most of us had typical corporate careers before, or we may still be in a corporate career. And that's what we're used to, earning a living based on our technical skills. So what happens is we come into our businesses and we do the same thing and we stay stuck in technician mode too long. And we think we have to be at a certain revenue place, or when I hit 1 million, then I'll start documenting, or when I hit X, fill in the blank, I'll start to create procedures. Not understanding that the faster that you start creating documented procedures, the quicker you're initiating the process of pulling yourself out of solopreneur syndrome, and you're essentially replacing yourself and treating the business like the separate entity that it is.
That's good.
That's what's key, right? So my whole philosophy around this is 2 things: document sooner rather than later. And secondly, don't document yourself. You shouldn't be doing documentations. You shouldn't be creating your CEO. You definitely should have someone else doing that.
Wow. And so that could be one of the first contractors or first hires even could do that. So as a recap, listeners, if you missed the first part, certainly who to hire or to contract as your solopreneur, who's going to help you get the services done, who's going to help you deliver the products and the services. That is who Cena is recommending as your first hire versus maybe who you might think like a social media consultant. But what do you say to the person that says, well, we don't like social media? Are you saying basically just defer that? Like it's not that they can't work on it, but the focus should be the service delivery.
Correct. That's exactly what I did. Like social media is great, the engagement, but no one wants to spend time creating the content. I know me personally, I don't. So anyone in that position, here's what I did. I brought someone in who basically became like the manager of my various services, my programs, essentially, because I'm a coach. So have someone who can help you do the services first. If you were building a traditional consulting business in the 80s before social media existed, they always brought in an assistant consultant first to help out and go win clients and go make sales. That was how they did it. So you follow that same, model because it works. Have someone come in and help you with the services, but right on the back of that, plan your expenses to bring some assistant in or a VA in or whoever you're going to delegate it to. Plan to bring a marketing individual in as well to begin to take some of that off your plate while you go grow the clientele.
All right. Wonderful. How can viewers and listeners connect with you and hire great help, your company?
Yeah, so you can connect with me, all things Hire Great Help on social media. Like I said, we do have a program, Hire Great Help, our 6-month coaching program, and that program is geared towards service providers who want to remove themselves out of the manager role within a 6-month time frame. We help you do that. You will be out of that role by the end of the 6 months if you work with us. So if you're interested, Sharvette shared the link around this. It should be underneath in the comments or around the video. Yes. Or you can DM me and I'll send you the link to book a consultation with us about the program. But we're on everything Hire Great Help. Send me a DM. I'm very responsive. And if you are interested in working with us, I think we only have 10 spots left before the year's over.
All right. There you have it. There you have it. And the last question for you. The goal of the show is to motivate, excite, and influence. And we want to know what continues to motivate Cena.
Oh, my boys.
Yeah.
My boys. I'm only doing this. I have to, give credit where it's due. Like I said, my grandfather he owned one of the first Black-owned gas stations in Philadelphia in the 60s. Wow. And the only reason I'm doing this is because of how much he instilled in me to have my integrity and to be a genuine, honest person who leaves an impact on other people's lives. That's the reason I'm here and I'm doing this. And I just want to make sure that my boys do that for their generation moving forward. So that keeps me going.
Ah, wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for stopping by. We'll stay connected and stay, just watching each other's. And we wish you much more continued success with you and your company and all of your clients.
Thank you, Sharvette. I appreciate you having me.
Oh, you're welcome. All right. Wow. Such great content. Listen, if you missed anything, just go back wherever you are watching or listening from. The replay, the relink, all of that is right there. And one of the easiest places to go is Sharvette.com. Sharvette.com has the full bio for our guest, all of her links for social media and to request a consultation are there. And if you're listening from any of the podcast or the talk radio shows, just look down below in the show notes. You have the information there. And again, this segment was brought to you by the Platform Builder Program. I'm excited about, this is the 7th cohort. So we only launch it twice a year. So this is the 7th one coming up for the beginning of January, and the enrollment doors close December 16th. And platformbuilder.biz is where you can find out all about the information there. And so what I love about the Platform Builder Program, quite frankly, is that it's perhaps a little bit different than some maybe other group coaching programs or even masterminds that you've been a part of, is that there's 4 components. So there is absolutely the group coaching experience, but then there's also one-on-one. You get one-on-one access with me as your marketing consultant throughout the year. We have documented curriculum videos that you get lifetime access to, and there's some done-for-you services as a part of the Platform Builder Program. So for example, we do full brand photo shoots for all of our clients with amazing photography and photography assets that they get. We write a book together. So if you are not an author, I am a strong believer that your intellectual property should be documented, or your transformational story should be documented in a book. And so we do a book collaboration, and all you got to do is write your book, and then you walk away, you walk out, for example, which matter of fact, I was at an event on Friday. Shout out to Dr. Kim Ridley, speaking at an empowerment event, and they bought every book I had. Thank you. They bought 3 and 4 books at a time. So we do a book collaboration together. We do a speaker one sheet for you. You get some social media graphics. And so that's a beautiful thing about the Platform Builder Program. And it's really geared towards entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs. You already have a business going, but you need to throw gasoline and throw a spotlight on what you're doing to level up your positioning, to get more clients or higher paying clients or higher paying contracts. This program is for you. So platformbuilder.biz is where you can go to find out more. There's tons of details, again, about all 12 months. There's video testimonials of past clients. And December 16th is the date you want to keep in mind that you want to apply before that date. That's it. All right. It's a wrap. We'll see you all later on in these internet streets. Bye.
Live from Richmond, Virginia, you've been listening to the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. Get Sharvette Mitchell every Tuesday at 6 p.m., interviewing all the stars you want to hear from. So until next week, stay motivated, excited, and influenced. This is the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show.